In any industry, businesses must navigate a complex environment filled with various players vying for market share. To succeed, companies need a clear strategy for identifying who their real competitors are, how they segment the market to better serve customers, and how they position their offering to stand out. In this lesson, we will explore key frameworks and concepts to help companies navigate competition and strategically position themselves. A successful business must look beyond just the immediate competition. This is where Porter's 5 Forces model comes in, offering a comprehensive framework for understanding competition within an industry. Let's break down these forces and especially those actors who carry them into the industry. Direct competitors are companies offering similar products or services. The more intense the rivalry, the harder it is to maintain profits. Think about the competition between Uber and Lyft in the ride-sharing industry, where the battle for market share can lead to price cuts and promotions. Substitutes are products or services that meet the same needs but in different ways. For example, video conferencing services such as Zoom and in-person meetings are substitutes. Companies must stay ahead by offering more value than these alternatives. Potential entrants are new companies entering the market that can disrupt the competitive equilibrium. Industries with low barriers to entry, such as e-commerce, are especially vulnerable to new entrants who might often offer better technology or lower prices. Suppliers provide the raw materials or components a company needs. If suppliers are few and powerful, they can dictate terms, potentially raising costs and squeezing margins. On the other hand, customers with strong bargaining power can force prices down or demand higher quality, reducing profitability. For example, in industries like retail, where consumers can easily switch between brands, companies must work harder to retain loyalty. Thanks to digital platforms like Airbnb, consumers are becoming direct competitors of hotel in the business of accommodation. Each of these actors can impact how a company competes and succeeds in the market. Understanding them helps firms anticipate challenges and create strategies to mitigate them. The Porter's model has a dramatic perspective. It helps in foreseeing what might happen in the next future if some conditions will be achieved. Who will be the actors we will have to compete against? Who are those who will challenge our profitability? Pressure on profitability is a meaningful way of looking at competition, and the value chain helps in shedding light on this phenomenon. The value chain represents the various activities performed by companies in the industry to create the product to be sold to end customers, from sourcing raw materials to delivering the final product. The price that end customers pay are spread across this chain, with each player, from supplier to retailer, taking a share. Here's where competition heats up. The stronger a player's position in the chain, the more bargaining power they have, allowing them to command higher prices. For example, in the fashion industry, luxury brands like Louis Vuitton has immense bargaining power over its value chain, since the brand is the reason why its bags are finally purchased. In the competition among value chains that offer leather bags, the reason why the value chain behind Louis Vuitton wins, it is because of the brand Louis Vuitton. This power is used by the company Louis Vuitton for driving suppliers and businesses customers along the value chain to accept prices, both incoming and outgoing prices, that benefit mainly Louis Vuitton. In contrast, in book publishing and in fast-moving consumer goods, the retailer has a huge power to influence the decision of the consumer, and this power is turned into a bigger percentage of the final price the retailer is able to retain. The key here is that competition doesn't just occur between individual businesses, but between entire value chains. Companies that can optimize their chain to create and capture value will have a significant competitive advantage. In order to better understand this point, let's dive deeper into competition among value chains, that is the typical situation in competitive industries. Imagine that companies both targeting the same type of customers but using different technology or methods to solve the same need. They might be in competition even if they are not directly offering the same product. For example, Uber competes not only with other ride-hailing apps like Lyft, but also with public transport, car-sharing services, and even e-bikes. In these competitive landscapes, companies that influence the customer's decision-making process the most gain significant power. If a company can become the critical link that directs the customers to choose one solution over another, it has the upper hand in the value chain. For instance, in the consumer computer market, Intel is able to strongly influence the decision of the final consumer, who is willing to decide and even to pay more for a PC that have an Intel chipset inside. This power to influence is used by Intel for setting higher prices for its chipsets when it sells them to computer producers. It's important to recognize that not all competitors are equally threatening. Some competitors may target the same customers, but if they offer vastly different products or services, they may pose less of a threat. For example, a budget airline may not be a serious competitor to a luxury airline, even though both provide air travel. However, the more similar two competitors are in terms of strategies that may be captured by the product that they offer, their pricing, or the distribution methods, the fiercer the competition becomes. These firms are said to be in strategic clusters, meaning they compete head-to-head for the same customer with the same need, using the same or very similar approaches. This is especially important when competitors appear highly similar in areas such as the vertical integration. Do they control multiple stages or production or distribution? Internationalization. Do they operate globally or are they focused on the local market? Product assortment. Do they offer a wider range of products or focus on a niche? Pricing. Are they premium, mid-range or budget players? For example, in the automotive industry, companies like Mercedes-Benz and BMW form a strategic cluster because they both target the luxury car market, offering similar features and price point. The most important aim in these situations is to maintain the competitive equilibrium. It is more harmful that the competitor will gain a better market position if it will succeed and we didn't imitate it, rather than lose money together if we imitated but the initiative failed for both. Let's apply this concept to a specific industry, like fashion. In fashion, two major strategic variables define competition: vertical integration and price level. Vertical integration refers to how much of the supply chain a company controls. Some fashion brands like Zara are highly vertically integrated, controlling everything from design to manufacturing and retail. This allows them to be highly responsive to trends and control costs. Price level is another key variable. Brands compete in different price segments from luxury to fast fashion. For instance, luxury brands like Chanel compete on quality and exclusivity, while fast fashion brands like H&M compete on affordability and speed to market. By analyzing where companies fall on these axes, vertical integration and price, brands can understand their position in the competitive landscape and who their direct competitors are. That means who they have to imitate. This helps them decide how to differentiate themselves or defend their market share, and who to imitate, as we have already said. In summary, competition today is far more complex than just battling with direct rivals. Companies must assess the entire competitive landscape, from value chains to strategic clusters. By understanding the broader context, how competitors position themselves, who wields the most power in the value chain, and which competitors are the most threatening, firms can build strategies that can then thrive in competitive markets. The key takeaway is that effective competition and positioning strategies depend on recognizing the nuances in how businesses compete. By applying frameworks like Porter's 5 forces and strategy cluster analysis, companies can not only survive but also lead in their industry.